Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in this evening. I can see a few names from like other times, so that is nice, and also a lot of new names. So welcome, everyone. My name is Maria. I'm one of the conservation officers in the Dubai Desert Conservation Reserve, the DDCR. We basically, for the ones that don't know us, it is a protected area. It's the first national park that was established in the UAE. And what we do is that we protect the desert ecosystem. It's kind of one of the last pristine places that you can find here in the UAE as like an untouched or barely untouched desert. So last year we started a series of webinars where we invited people or researchers or scientists that did a project in the DDCR. And this year we wanted to extend it or expand it to people or in general doing something environmentally in the UAE, because there are so many projects around and so many things that we don't know. So what a better way to get to know everyone about this information. So today we have Oumaima. She will talk about pollinators. So I will give the floor to her. Just as two additions. One, that we will have a poll. So just make sure that you are paying attention, because we will launch 3 questions along the presentation. And the second addition is that if someone wants to have a certificate of attendance, now we are issuing these certificates. So because I know that some people maybe for volunteer purposes they need it. So yeah. So in the end of the talk, I always have all the emails that attended. So if you want to receive it, you can always send me an email. So that's all from me. And then Oumaima, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maria, for the presentation. Welcome, everyone. I'm Oumaima Khouildi. I'm a doctoral researcher working on pollinators in Tunisia. My specialty is biological science and health. And today I will be here to answer all your questions about pollinators, and you hope that you will enjoy the session. So we're going to start now by the presentation. Maria, can you tell me if you see the screen?
All good.
Okay, good. So we're going to start by an introduction. Who are the pollinators? The pollinators are the hero of our ecosystem. They play a crucial role in maintaining the biodiversity and ensuring the food security. And we all know that food security is so important now for all the world. From bees to butterflies to birds, these creatures facilitate the reproduction of many plants, including those vital for agriculture and natural habitat. So what is the phenomenon of pollination? So all of us hear about pollination, but what is pollination? So a pollinator is an organism that transfers the pollen from the male reproductive part of one flower to the female reproductive part of another. It can be done by a lot of entities: birds, animals, insects. These entities, they visit the flower to collect the pollen or the nectar in order to feed herself. So once they interact with the flower, the pollen gets stick to their bodies and it gets transferred to another flower. So some of these pollinators, they pollinate the plants indirectly. They don't even know that they're doing good things, but actually they're doing the pollination. So we can launch the question now, Maria.
It's coming. So everyone, please answer. We will give you around 30 seconds. Let's see. Bats help pollinate certain types of flowers, especially at night. Is it true or false? Okay, I can see that mostly everyone answered true. There is one false.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah. Yeah, there's 91%
It's
of people that
surprising, right?
answer true and
Surprising.
one that answer false. So tell us.
Okay, so you will get all surprised that bats that are really pollinators. So the major type of pollinators are the insects like bees, butterflies, moths, and beetles, birds like hummingbirds, and we're going to speak about this one later, the honey eaters, the sunbirds, and surprising, the bats. So the bats are a key pollinators in tropical and desert region, and we're going to speak about this later. So the major type of bees. So we all know that bees are an important pollinator globally. So now we're going to speak about the UAE specific and not in all the world. So in UAE, we have the domestic bees and wild bees, like every place in the world. The domestic bees are the bees that they can be found inside a hive. So we can keep inside the hive. It's a docile. Their nature is a docile and they can produce a lot of quantities of honey. So we can consume this honey. Different the wild bees, they are not docile. We can keep it inside the hive. So we can find doing a nest in a mountain, in trees, in the forests. And they produce, some of them are honeybees, like Apis florea. They can produce honey, but with small quantities, not like Apis mellifera. Also, we have the butterflies. We all know that butterflies are an important pollinators also. So they feed on nectar in the flower, but indirectly, some pollen gets stuck in their body. So once they go to a flower to another flower, they pollinate these plants. Also, we have the moth. Some of us think that moths are all dangerous and bad, but some of them, they are great pollinators. It's like bats, they pollinate the flowers that they bloom in the dark. And many flowers have evolved scents and colors to attract these moths. The hummingbird. This one is my favorite pollinators, by the way. And why it's called the hummingbirds, by the way? Because when they fly, their wings beat so quickly they can create a humming noise. You can hear this noise. That's why it's called the hummingbirds. And in Arabic, al-ta'ir al-tannan. These birds feed on nectar similar to bees. And once he is eating the nectar, he will pollinate another flowering by the pollen that gets stuck in his body. Also, as the poll question, the bats. Some of us maybe are surprised how bats can pollinate. And bats can pollinate? Yeah, actually bats can pollinate. They are nocturnal pollinators. I don't know if you know or not, but some flowers, they get bloom in the dark, in the night. So here, to do the pollination, we need an entities or an animal that can pollinate this flower in the night. That's why it came the role of the bats, because we all know that the bats are active at night and not in the morning. Also, we have the haverflies. Haverflies, some people, they get confused between them and the bees because as you see, they look similar to bees in their body. And it's like they're not harmless, they don't sting, they're so peaceful, and they feed on nectar and pollen, which aid to plant reproduction. So they can pollinate flowers and multiple plants, including the crops that we need in our food. Finally, we have the wasps. Wasps are not also bad insects, as many people know. That's why we need to protect them and we need to save them and we need to stop killing them. Because a lot of people saying, oh, wasps are dangerous for the bees. Yes, some wasps eat the bees, but also they're so important and essential for the ecosystem because they are active during the day, which help to pollinate diverse crops. Native and local bees in the UAE, because now we are speaking about the UAE, so we're going to speak about the native and local bees. What it mean, native and local bees? Native, it's bees that are specifically to this place, to country, a country specific. So here we have the Apis florea. It's called the dwarf honey bees. Apis florea are wild bees. You can see here a nest. You can see a nest here. This is a nest that we save from sustainable city, and we transfer it to another apiary. It will go by the end because this is a wild beast. It's not docile. We can't keep it inside a hive, but it's very important for the pollinators. They're smaller than other honeybee species, and they build a small and exposed nest on trees, branches, or shrubs. And their behavior globally, they are so gentle. I never get stung by Apis florea, by the way. And they are honeybees. They produce honey, but with the small quantities, it's not enough for human food. We have also the famous Apis mellifera yemenitica, which is native to the UAE. These bees are native and adapted to the climate of UAE. Generally, they are smaller and darker comparing to European honeybees, and they are well adapted to hot and arid climates. So they can survive in heat. They can survive in a high temperature, and they produce honey also. So here, when you hear about honey in UAE, this honey, it comes from the Apis mellifera yemenitica. Okay, you can launch now the poll.
Yes. So there is the second poll coming. Sorry.
Yes.
Now I lost it 1 second. I'm new in this poll thing. Okay. So second poll, how many eggs can a queen bee lay in a single day?
Now we speak about the honeybee, the Apis mellifera yemenitica.
100, 500, 2,000, or 5,000? Let's see what we get. Okay. Now the results are changing. So far, 2,000 is winning by 69. We have a 15% voting for 5,000, and then 8% voting both for 100 and 500. So I think the 2,000 won for now.
Let's see. Okay,
thank you for changing.
Thank you for answering the question. The queen bee. So let's start by saying, inside the hive, we have a lot of bees. But some of us think that all the bees are similar. They have the same role. They're all female, but you will get shocked by the surprise that they are not all female, and they don't have all the same role inside the hive. We're gonna start by the queen bee. So the queen bee is an egg layer in the colony, and she can lay up to 2,000 eggs per day in peak season if she is not lazy queen. Some of them are lazy, by the way, Maria, believe or not. They can live up to 5 years, but typically 2 to 3 years, and then we're going to change the queen inside the hive. They release pheromones to regulate the colony's activity and unity, and the mating is doing it during the flight. So when they need to do the reproduction, they will fly in the air, and we will have like 10 to 12 male running after her, and they will do the mating in the air. So it's called mating flight. And now we have the drone bee. The drone bee is the male bee. He's the male bee. And do you think that the male bee, his role is to do the defense in the colony, like everyone said? Of course not. The male bee are responsible only for mating with the queen. They are larger than the workers' bee, and they have bigger eyes. Some of you maybe are wondering why they have a bigger eyes, why they have a bigger eyes than the female bee and the queen. Honestly, when they do the mating in the air, they need the big eyes so they can see where's the queen. So the body of the drone bee have big eyes so he can identify the location of the queen. They leave only during the breeding season, and after the breeding season, they will die. But hopefully, and thanks God, they will die happy because they will do the reproduction and the mating, and they mate, Her Majesty. Believe or not, the drone bee can't sting. He doesn't have a stinger. It's like in all the world, the male is always it's like cute. The male are also cute, so they don't sting. They don't have a stinger. They're so peaceful, like a real life. All the male are peaceful, and the only purpose, as I said, is to mate with the queen during the flight. And then they have to be killed because they consume a lot of food during their size. That's why once the mating is done, the workers bee, they will kill all the drones and they will kick them outside the hive. Now, let's see about the worker bee. All workers bee are female. We are hard workers, always like a real life, as I said, but they cannot reproduce. They don't have a reproduction genital reproduction system. Sometimes they can produce, but only male. And if you have a question about that, we're going to answer after the presentation. The lifespan ranges, it's from 6 weeks in summer to several months in winter. They don't live longer like the queen. The queen, she can live until like 5 years, but the worker, no. It depends about the weather. And they have like a multifunction role: nursing, foraging, doing the maintenance, and doing the defense. So they're a hard worker bee. So if we need a pollinators and the pollinator, so we're going to need an insect, but also we're going to need the plants, we're going to need the trees, we're going to need the flowers. So let's speak about the native plants of UAE. So we have Romaria hybrida. It's famous. A lot of UAE people know this plants. Common name is violet horned poppy. The blooming season is from March to May, and it's so rich of pollen, which accessible due to flower structure. Some plants, they have pollen, but they don't have nectar. Some of them are rich of nectar, but they don't have pollen. Some of them have both nectar and pollen. This flower have both the pollen and nectar. That's why it's so very important to the food of the bees and for the pollination. Also, we have the Pevre du Billon. The common name is long-headed poppy. The blooming season is different from April to June, and it provides pollen and nectar also. So this flower produced both the pollen and nectar. And now we have the famous Acacia tortilis. So it's present from the family of Fabaceae, and the common name is umbrella thorn acacia. The blooming season is from January to March, and for the people who live inside UAE, they all know the famous honey of Acacia tortilis. So it's good for the immunity system. It's tasty, and it's not expensive too. So it's rich in pollen, which support various pollinators. And it's also rich of nectar, which attract bees and other insects like hoverflies and the butterflies. And also we have the Ziziphus spina christi, which is so famous also. And the blooming season is from April to June, and provide a good now. I think now we can see.
Yeah. Yes. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes, you were in this one.
Sorry
Yeah.
again. Sorry again for
No
the
problem.
accident happens always. So yes. So now we have the Ziziphus spina christi. Also, if you live in UAE, we know that there is a famous honey of the Ziziphus, and the blooming season it's April to June, and it's so rich of pollen and nectar also. What attract pollinators to the flower? So what attracts this creature to the flower? What attracts is a lot of points. One of them is the color. If you are a bright, vibrant color such as red, yellow, and orange, it often attracts pollinates like bees, butterflies, and birds. Also, the fragrance, the odors. If you smell good, oh, I'm gonna be attracted to you. It's normal. So it's the same for insects and birds. I'm gonna like your smell, I'm gonna come after you. Also the nectar. If you are sweet, I'm gonna after you. So I'm gonna come and feed on your nectar, and then I'm gonna pollinate other flowers. Also for the size, if you are larger flowers, you will attract large pollinators like birds, bats. And if you have like small size, you're gonna attract some insects like bees, hoverflies, wasps. Also the pollen. If you are rich on pollen, you're gonna offer me a protein source. So of course I'm gonna come after you. And finally, we're gonna speak about the shape. Flowers with a specific shape or structure like tubular or landing platforms are adapted to attract particular pollinators. Maria, you're still with me? No, I'm traumatized from what's happening.
All good.
Okay, good. The importance of pollinators. So we all know that pollinators are important. As I remember that Einstein said once, if there is an extension of the pollinators, the humanity will get extinct after like 5 years. So we're gonna finish all the food that we have, all the reserve, and we're gonna extinct after, because there is no creature, there is no insect, there is no birds, there is no bats to pollinate the crops. By the way, if you like the burger, okay, let me see. Some of them say, oh, I don't eat salad. I don't need bees. I don't need hoverflies. But actually, if you eat also the burger and there is no pollinators, there is no burger, because there is no tomatoes, there is no lettuce, there is nothing to do with your burger. So you're gonna preserve the pollinators. Why the pollinators are important? So there is two. Let's see, they are important to the agriculture and the economy sector. The pollinators affect like 35% of a global agriculture land. They enhance the reproduction of 87 of the leading food crops worldwide. And they improve the quality of the yield. So my PhD subject is about how these pollinators can improve the quality and the quantity of reproduction crops. For example, I'm working on how to stop doing the monoculture and introduce plants from umbellifera species that attract a lot of pollinators, which will help, for example, my principal like tomatoes or fava bean. I'm going to help her. How? By attracting the pollinators to pollinate her, which will lead to improving the quality and the quantity of my production in the end, and also by improving my economy, my pocket, by selling the production of the umbellifera plants, of the one that attract for me in the beginning, the pollinators. I think this point is clear, right? Maria, we can launch the poll if you want.
Okay. I thought it was in the next one.
Yes.
Okay, I'm launching the poll. What is the main reason pollinators are declining globally? Weather change, pesticide use and habitat loss, radiation from phones, or predators? So let's see the answers, how they go. Okay, most people answer pesticide use and habitat loss, someone radiation from phones, pesticide use and habitat loss. Yeah, I think mostly, okay, there is some weather change, but mostly everyone is answering pesticides use and habitat loss.
So I hope the one that answered radiation from the phones is not using a smartphone. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you for asking the question.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's continue. So the challenge, we have like different types of challenge, a lot of challenge, believe me. Our world is full of challenge for for the humanity and for the animals and for all the pollinators. So we have like directly and indirectly challenge. Pollinator challenge. We have the urbanization, which lead to reduced natural habitat. If you're gonna cut all the trees and like have a similar communities and build a lot of buildings in order to offer habitat for the human, but you are reducing the natural habitat also for all the pollinators. Also, we can speak about the agriculture expansion, which leads to habitat destruction, the pesticide use, which is the first threat against the pollinates, believe me. It directly harms the pollinates and the environment. If you're going to treat land, believe me, you will have the pesticide residue for like 5 to 10 years. So it's not about just treating one day and step back. You're going to have like a poison land for years, which affects the pollinators and the plants also. The climate change, it affects the plants and pollinates life cycle. We're going to see this after in the case study when we speak about the bumblebees. The disease and the parasites weaken pollinates pollination. If we have a lot of parasites, we will have a weak population of the pollinators. The monoculture practice, the one that I was speaking about, which limit the food diversity and nutrition, of course. If we're going to plant, if, for example, I'm in UAE and we're going to plant this year all potatoes everywhere. Okay, so where's my food? What I can pollinate and what I can eat? There is no food. There is no diversity. Do you get the point? Okay. The climate change, what he can do for pollinators, it affects pollinators directly by altering their habitat and the availability of food resources. And they indirectly influence the pollinator through shift in the flowering times and the plant pollinates interaction. For example, I think last year or maybe before the last year, we have like the heavy rain in UAE. It was huge. It was so heavy rain, which disturb the ecosystem. For example, we have like shifting in the flowering times of the plants. For example, I'm a bee, okay? I'm like not the docile bee. I'm a bee, sauvage bee, and it's my reproduction peak season, but there is no flowers. What I can do? From where I can bring my food? So this is a problem that climate change is doing for the planet. So this is the case study. You can see here, I think that you all know the bumblebee. This is a bumblebee. Maria, you can see the videos here?
Yes, it's a little bit slow, but yes, we can see.
There is no sound. I remove the sound. This is a bumblebee. And here it's a case study about how the climate change affects the bumblebee. The bumblebees are crucial for pollinators. Many crops are significantly affected by climate change. Raising the temperature and alter the precipitation patterns disrupt their life cycle and habitat. How? By habitat shifts. When the temperature rises, the bumblebee are forced to move to higher altitudes, losing access to traditional habitat. They will search for habitat, and this is not good for the population. Also, the phenological mismatch. Changes in the flower's times result in mismatch between when flower bloom and when the bumblebee are active, which reduce the food availability. The heat stress. Increased temperature can exceed bumblebees' thermal tolerance, which lead to higher mortality rates. And by the way, I'm seeing a lot of bumblebees dead day by day. And I was wondering what's happening, but it's also the effect of a climate change. للأسف. Also, the resource scarcity. Altered weather patterns affect the plant growth, reducing the diversity and the abundance of flowers. That's why climate change affects directly and indirectly the population of pollinators. That's why we need to stop using the pesticide, at least because we can't control the climate change. We can't control it. I know that it's not that easy, but we can control our activities, how to deal with nature, how to deal with agronomy, how to deal with the plants, how to deal with the crops. That's why the conservation is so important. The outreach and raising awareness is so important. How we can help the pollinators? how you can help the pollinators. For example, I spoke about Apis mellifera yemenetica in UAE and the honey that they produce. You can help by support organic farming. By supporting organic farm and eating the crops that it plants inside UAE, you are helping the pollinators. Also, by consuming the honey inside the UAE, you are helping the surviving of the bees, because you will encourage more people to enter into business. If you're going to consume my honey, I'm going to raise the number of my hives, which will be raising the number of population. That's why it's good to support our organic farm and organic farmers. Promote awareness and education. We need to stop talking about boys and girls and nails and makeup and the things that makes us look stupid, and let's start speaking and raising awareness about the bees, about the hoverflies, about the bumblebees, about the carpenter bees. Let's try to educate ourselves and educate people and educate the next generation. How we can help also the pollinators? By creating pollinator friendly habitat. For example, you can see here, this is hotel, insect of hotel. We call in French village des insectes and hotel d'insectes. This is also, it's Hilton for the bees and for the pollinators. So here it's like we are promoting the diversity of pollinators, and we are like helping people to encourage them to start building these nests for the bees and for the hoverflies and for the wasps. It's like, hi, we have here your habitat. We have a home for you. Come and join us. Come and live in our garden. We are not using pesticide here. You have food. You have water. You have trees. You have plants. We have mellifera flowers. You can come here and survive. Okay, so Maria, she suggests that I add the slides about what if we find a nest, what we can do. For example, I am living in sustainable city and in my balcony I found a nest. And what to do? First of all, you need to stay calm and keep a distance. Do not disturb the nest. You can get sting. And some of you maybe have an allergy. So you can be allergic against the bees. That's why you need to stay calm and keep a distance. Also, bees are usually no aggressive if left alone. And keep your children and pets away. So the majority of the nests that we can find in Dubai and across the UAE are the Apis florea. It's so tiny. And I know so most of you or some of you have seen this nest. So it's not docile bees. And they will leave like after 2 weeks, 1 month, because they do migration a lot. They can't stand in one place. So what you do, second, do not try to remove it yourself. No spraying, no burning or hitting the nest. You can get affected, you can get stung by the bees, and this could provoke the bees and cause harm. So what you need to do is call a professional for safe removal. I think the municipality can do this without a charge, but I'm not sure if they protect the pollinates and they transfer it to like safe habitat or they kill them. I don't know, but I know that Olivier's Bees Farm, they do the service of removal the nests, but they charge for them. So this is his number, and I think his Instagram is Olivier's Bees Farm. And thank you so much for your attention, and I'm here to answer all your questions.
Thank you so much. I think it is very interesting, and thank you for including the last part of the hotel, the insect hotel, for the people that have gardens. If you want to have your plants and all the flowers and everything, you must have insects. So when you go out and then you see, I don't know, any tiny thing, just leave it, because it is helping. And actually, for example, one of the best remedies if you have a pest, it's ladybugs. Ladybugs are they are
aphids. They eat
awesome.
aphids.
Yes, we all see them as like so cute, and and they go for them. They are
Yes,
killers.
they are hunters.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and I hope also the part of the hotel, the insect hotel is also so easy. You just basically have to kind of like get logs of or branches of different sizes, and then it's kind of like creating the different habitats. And you will have also beetles. There is so many things that go there, and especially for families that have kids. I think it is a great initiative for them to, start getting to know about nature.
Thank you.
So thank you. Well, if anyone has any answers, you can put them on the chat. There was one about the recommendation of a book. Georgina mentioned Honey Democracy. That she was reading it when she was studying to be a lawyer. I think it talks about behavior. I don't know if you have any other books.
There is a book in UAE. It's called. Let me see what it's called. The piece. It was released last year by Dr. Denise Anderson and Adafsa. But what I do actually is reading articles, scientific articles in high impacted journals. So you're gonna enter in a research gate and just mention in the research place, for example, just type bees behavior, Apis mellifera yemenetica. So it's like use mots-clés, like we said in French, and you're going to have a lot of articles. So that's what I advise you, because it's an impacted article which have a good reference and exact information.
Okay. There is someone that also put recommendations. So if anyone wants, it's in the chat. Sangita put it. So there is 3 recommendations. There is another question from Georgina that says, I have a question about Apis florea. I have heard the stories about older generation locals who are up in the mountains and caves and ethically harvest honey from wild florea nests. Is this true, or do we have any recorded stories or articles about it?
By the way, it's done all across the world, not only in the UAE. Apis florea, they can produce honey, but as I said, with the small quantities, not like Apis mellifera yemenetica, because they are like they do migration a lot. They go to place to another. That's why the nest needs to not to be heavy. They will consume the honey once they will fly to another place. If they're gonna have a bigger colony or a new queen, or they don't have enough food source in this place. So the people that they live in UAE, yes, they consume this honey. For me, I prefer to not, because this lead to killing the nest. They will kill all the bees, by the way. Some of them, they will fly away and they will be alive, but in the end we will lose all the nests. So ethical for me, it's not good, and I need to raise awareness about stopping this act. So if I'm a lawyer, or I have like a hand in the policy making, I will make it
Completely legal.
Yes. So do I have recorded the story or articles about it? No, actually, but I can look for it. And if you I don't know how I can share my emails. Okay, I'm gonna read my emails here, Maria, if you want. And some of you
Of
can,
course. If anyone has any questions, you can either send me an email or directly to Oumaima.
yes.
There is a couple more questions. Where can they get? Do you know where can people find native plants for the garden? Katerina is asking if it's in Garden Center, Albarsan.
Okay, so in UAE, you can find the native plants in where I can see in Dubai. You can say in a garden center. It's true they have exotic plants, but when once you ask it about the native plants, you can find it. Also, go to the desert. Go to the desert. Go to open spaces.
Don't take too much from the desert. Leave the desert as it is. It's already very.
Believe me. When I was in UAE and I go to Fujairah, I found a lot of native plants.
No. Imagine that everyone goes and takes all the plants. No, please. No. Don't take it. No, Don't. No one,
Maria,
please.
can you look about how to find native plants in the UAE for them?
No, but I mean, like, but maybe they no, but then maybe like then they get maybe
Maybe,
one sample and then they reproduce them, But it's not like if everyone goes and takes them.
yeah, exactly. And by the way,
Yeah,
this is a good idea of business, Maria. You can
it
have
is.
like
It
a
is. I will
garden,
think about
center
it. I will
garden.
think about it. We
Okay,
have
good.
a few more questions. Just because they asked me a couple of times, I can see people are starting to disconnect. If you want, I'm not sure about the presentation. I can share it if someone is particularly interested. But we always upload the videos in our YouTube channel, and whenever it's ready, we share the link. So this presentation will be in YouTube in case you wanna share it or watch it later or whatever. So there is another question
Question. Let me see.
from Deepa. How has traditional beekeeping evolved in the UAE, especially with the native species like Apis mellifera?
How it get involved. So it was involved by the time, and the honey production and the honey business, it's found in UAE for years, many years. So now it get involved by doing research. They're doing a lot of research. We have Adafsa in Abu Dhabi. They are the one who's responsible for doing research on bees, and the government also they encourage the honey business, and it get involved by time. So it's all the world, not only in the UAE, but now we have hives. We have hives from UK, from Turkey, from everywhere, and the
I think
business
she
of
refers more about the technique, maybe, because
technique.
she says traditional beekeeping. So I'm thinking maybe that's what you refer to, Deepa? I'm not sure.
How has
Yes,
traditional beekeeping? So
yeah.
the traditional beekeeping was not using. They don't use a hive. They use like a cave. They use like the trees. They use like how to say in how to say jarra yani from uh, from the soil. So it was like traditional, but it was evolved by time by using the hives. So now we are using a hive. We are not using the traditional methods anymore. And if we are using this, the honey is so expensive, by the way. You can just buy a honey from a traditional methods because it's so expensive.
Gary is mentioning regarding the question that we had before about how the locals harvest get the honey. He's saying that residents, what they do, locals, is that they create rock shelters, and it kind of like that attracts the bees, and then they will build a nest and allow them to
Yes,
harvest
and the
the
honey
the
is so
honey.
expensive. And the honey of these methods are very expensive, by the way.
Well, I assume. I mean, it takes it takes some effort for them to find a
Yes,
place and then make the
yeah,
bees to go.
exactly.
So there is one question from Sangita saying, could you share whether Apis cerana colonies are present in the UAE? And if so, are there any studies or native plant pollinator interactions involving these bees in the region? I don't know which species
These
is this.
Sirena colonies, for in the UAE, there is a lot of species of Apis mellifera. Not only Yemenitica, we have the Egyptian bee. So the first species in the UAE, it's not Apis mellifera yemenitica, by the way. It's the Egyptian bees because they start shipping the Egyptian bees to the UAE because they produce honey quantities more than what Apis mellifera yemenitica do. That's why I was speaking about her, to preserve her and to help to conserve her and to encourage people to raise these species. But about Apis cerana, I have no ideas, and I don't think maybe it's in the UAE. Maybe it's not
This
adapted
one
to the
is
climate.
the Asiatic or the Asian honeybee.
Apis cerana, no, I don't hear about this. We have the Egyptian bees. We have but sirena. I don't. Let me check again.
For Kate, in the meantime, while Oumaima checks for the bee, well, Kate is asking how she can inform people about why bees are important and why we should not just like killing them. So basically, with this, you can share this video with them Most of the plants that we have, they are from, like, it's because of them. So that is one of the main reasons. And they don't really do anything. In the visitor center here in the DDCR, we have a couple of these nests, and they just live there.
Okay.
They don't, they don't do anything. If anything, it's in any case the wasp that maybe sometimes it can sting, but the bees, we never had any problem.
Yes, I was checking the Apis sirena. She's speaking about the Chinese bees or the Indian bees. They have like a several common name, but no, actually, I didn't deal with this in UAE. I was dealing with the Egyptian bees and the Apis mellifera yemenitica, because as I say, they're shifting. It's like there is an agreement between the UAE and Egypt, and they are shipping the bees from Egypt.
Okay, well, um, I think, Ekaterina is saying that in our community to fight mosquitoes, management smokes the area. I'm sure it affects pollinators. How to bring this message to land management?
Where this question is? Can you see?
It's the last comment from Ekaterina.
The Catherine, in our community to fight mosquitoes, management smokes the area. I'm sure it affects pollinators. How to bring this message to land management? Okay, yes. For example, by using the smoke. Okay, so let's speak about the smoker and the smoke. So the smokes make the bees get away because they feel like there is a fire and they need to get away. They need to survive. So they will take their stuffs and they will fly away. And also it masks the pheromones, so which lead to they will not feel relaxed by staying in a place they have a fight, they have a fire. So how to bring this message to the land and manage? You can text them, you can even send a message maybe to text and deal with the municipality, but I know by the end they will say that there is no solution. Honestly, this is the problem that was dealing with the municipality and the communities management in the UAE.
Yeah, sometimes it is hard. In the end, we try to live as if there is nothing around us, but we live around so many things, starting from mosquitoes. They are annoying,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they are there. So it's
yeah.
not, yeah.
But for the mosquitoes, we need to preserve the dragonflies. So if we're gonna speak about mosquitoes, it's all related, by the way. The ecosystem is so related. If we're gonna stay away and we're gonna reduce the number of mosquitoes, let's preserve the dragonflies. They will eat it. They will eat all the mosquitoes, by the way, and there is no mosquitoes. Yeah, hallelujah. So it's all about preserving the nature, by the way.
Yeah.
Also, when I was speaking about the native bees, why I mentioned the native bees? Because in the UAE and in many countries, we deal and we care only about the beauty. Bring exotic plants because they are beautiful, but they are not adapted. And you will see in all the communities in the summer, all the plants will be dead, and they will like plants, different plants, and another plants each year. They will consume more water, more energy, more employees, more money. That's why native bees are adapted, and and they're beautiful, by the way. For me, I don't know if the beauty measure is different from someone to another, but I found it so beautiful. That's why I love native
They
plants.
are, they are 100%.
Yes,
100%. Last question, and then
yes.
we will all leave to have dinner. Oumaima from Georgina, I remember there was research being done about a new UAE bee or
Oh,
Emirati
interesting.
honeybee that can adapt easily to the extreme temperature. Is this still going on?
Yes, it's. I think I remember it was going on in Adafsa, and actually, it's not a new UAB. It's because when we UAE was dealing a lot with Egyptian bee. If you are bring new species to any countries, to any place, you're gonna affect the native species. So the Egyptian bees and the Apis mellifera yemenitica, the one that I was speaking, that is native to the UAE, they get into competition about the food and the water, nectar and pollen, which lead to affection to Apis mellifera yemenitica, the one that it called Emirati bees. So in order to preserve the Emirati bees and to conserve it, a lot of research are doing now. So actually, it's not a new
So it's not a
UAE.
new
It's
species.
the old one, but they want to bring it back to life. and maybe do, like, for example, a genetical modification to make it produce more honey, like Egyptian bees. For example, let's we all talk. I have an Emirati queen bee, okay? It's Emirati queen bee, and I have a drone from Egyptian bee. Let's do the mating. Let's see what we will have in the end. So it's like about genetic, improving the genetic of the actually and the native bees. So yes, it's still going on, and I think Dr. Saad Al Masri is the one that's responsible in Adapsa. It was done by Dennis Anderson, but now he left to Australia, and we have Dr. Saad Al Masri, as I still remember.
It is very interesting. In the end, this happens whenever. Sorry,
Maria.
No, no worries.
Are you Georgina from Expo? I think
she is. She is. Yes.
Oh, how are you? Nice to see you here.
Yeah, we will actually have her very soon. So you will all meet Georgina. She is wonderful.
I love Georgina, by the way. She's tough.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you everyone for attending the presentation and your patience. Hope you learned a lot. You all have my email. I will write it here once more. And then if you have any questions for me or for Oumaima, you can always send me an email. And the same. Sorry?
Maria, sorry.
Yes.
Now I get mentioned that the engineer, Mr. Slahaddin, is here. And I want to say hello to him because he's a good person and he helped me once in doing my field research. Hi, Mr. Slahaddin, and I hope you enjoyed the session.
Thank you, Mr. Hasaldin. That is a little bit difficult for me for joining. So yeah, thank you so much. You all enjoy your evenings. And if anyone wants the certificate of attendance, that was actually Oumaima's idea. Just send me an email and I will send it to you. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Maria.
Thank you, Oumaima. And yeah,
I enjoyed
see
the session.
you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.